hopefully.
You opened it. We take.
Are we live?
I hope not.
We should be live everywhere except for Rumble. Well, Rumble isn't. I don't know how to get.
We are live.
We are live. We're live on the tube. We're live on the tubes. Oh no.
No, we're not live.
What up, YouTube?
This week's episode is brought to you by D-Life exclusive.
So hopefully.
What up, tubes?
Yep, we have noise on Rumble.
Great.
Oh,
We
about
should
so
have
that
moving
means if
pictures?
you're on Rumble, you can hear us.
Yeah, we should have noises on Rumble.
Oh, right. Cool.
Do the pictures move?
Moving pictures.
Ah.
X. I posted to X. Ian's on next week. He's told me. The big grey man of Ben Macdui.
What? The big grey man?
Of man. I thought that was the one that was a shadow on a cloud, wasn't it? Or have I just spoiled next week's episode already?
Spoilers.
Spoilers! It's the man.
I've never heard of the
shadow
big
on
grey
a
man.
cloud. Have you not heard that one? No.
Sure, that's just not Dom. You sure it's not just Dom on a night out? Like fucking...
Yeah, Dom. Well, did you enjoy Space Simulator this afternoon? Then Fraser, I see you tweeting me.
Oh, I did. I did enjoy Space Simulator. Yeah, fucking, it's really good. Like Microsoft should make a flight simulator like it. It's yeah, it's love the CGI. Imagine the graphics we've got these days. It's amazing, right?
Maybe they'll add it as DLC to their flight sim. I was really pleased actually with Microsoft Flight Sim. The reason I bought it is they've introduced helicopters. So I can now fly around my town and go, that's my house!
SpaceX... Hey, they added Dune as well, didn't they? Dune...
Oh yeah, an ornithopter in
that's it.
But it's a time limit, so you can't just... Well, I don't know if you can't just take your time with it, but it's like, it's £45. And mind you, a lot of the stuff in the flight sim is expensive. My favourite aircraft, as many people...
But you have to buy it. You have to buy the ornithopter.
I'll tell you what is quite good. I don't know whether it's only on the PlayStation 4, but if you own Star Wars Battlefront, you can. There's an X-wing VR sim that's playable on it. The original the EA Battlefront, the first one.
I would say 99%. There is some free stuff, but 99% of the DLC for Microsoft Flight Sim you have to pay for. My favourite aircraft, as many people know, is the...
Are you seriously trying to suggest to me that Bill Gates would be nickel and diming people?
Well, Microsoft in general. I think
Bill Gates... now. Yeah,
Bill Gates is more interested in putting like diseases in mosquitoes and releasing them into Florida and other places.
Yeah, he's more interested in cooking up some bird flu vaccine.
He's more interested in trying to kill Africans, isn't he?
Or Indians. Yeah, he's not a big fan of India. Or India's not a big fan.
Oh, right. Is he allegedly test there?
The Indians living in Florida, he's not
something about, I don't know if it was birth defects or something, but yeah, there was a lot of something in the water, let's just say, in India that is attributed to Bill Gates.
I don't know. How are you going to tell if it's Bill Gates doing though? Like all the amount of other shit there in the fucking water. I think with a decent lawyer, Bill Gates is off that one.
Yeah. You know where that was going.
Yes, my client would want to know is how do you know the birth defects are caused by the chemical he's putting in the water?
Well, it's just cow shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, Hobbit, I've put in the Gilded, I've put in the Dame Janet Smith review if you want to have a look at that. Everyone can pick a chapter they fancy doing. I suppose would be the way to do it.
Oh, so when I was just going to say we got a new category in the future episodes called China, Why You Lie, and we'll leave that as a spoiler for future. Yeah. So this would be under the Jimmy Savile one?
Chinese space program.
No, just in general.
Oh, let's be
general.
Let's be American about this. The Jimmy Savile.
But Jimmy Saville, isn't it?
Jimmy Savile. That's it. Yeah. But in general,
they spelt his name wrong.
Then,
does that mean he isn't really dead? It's Saville, isn't it?
I don't know. Is this a Mandela effect?
How did he die? Did he die of a
shit?
Like,
is it if you remember the two L's that was when he was kindly Jimmy Savile that didn't nonce any kids?
I will have you know,
Mandela. It's just Mandela. Is he alive again? Like, oh, imagine that. Imagine if he comes back like fucking Nelson Mandela.
Is that why they call him?
I remember.
Is that why they call him Jimmy Savile? Because it's 1 L, not 2. Fuck me.
I've never noticed all over again.
I've never noticed that they spelled Savile with 1 L, not 2. It's breaking news, lads.
It's the Mandela effect right here.
But they've always pronounced it Saville, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this. By the way, there's 793 pages in this report, so we probably won't get through it all today.
Not today. I just thought we could pick our favourite chapter, maybe do a couple of chapters. What we found.
Well, what if you go?
Because there's one about rumours.
What if you go to the last 4 pages where they got graphs?
You did it.
Look at this graph. You've got graphs. Breakdown of victims by decade of incident. That's a pie chart. You could put that on the thing. You'll have to flip them over because they're all.
What is the graph? The fucking as people get older, like the less rape.
Look at the graph, and it will answer these questions.
Age versus chance of being raped. Is that the graph?
Is it kind of like a reverse bell curve where it's sort of like when you're sort of adult age, it goes down, but when you're dead, it goes up?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Do we still have to say allegedly, seeing as he's dead?
Yes.
I don't think we do. I'm not sure. If we don't, then this is all allegedly the whole episode. I'm going to cover the whole episode here. If it's not the case, then obviously this is all allegedly. This is a humour and satire podcast.
Yes.
Oh! I've got the ultimate get out clause.
If not, fuck him.
The ultimate get out clause. Anything I say now, before and after, like that episode of Banter Nationalism where I was playing Minecraft. It's all allegedly, and it's all in Minecraft.
Yeah. Oh, didn't we have a new Minecraft? I thought we had a new Minecraft.
I'm going to say it's in whatever game I'm playing currently.
Scum.
No, we had something that was the new in Minecraft, but I can't remember what it is now.
Oh, is it legally and lawfully? When it's been done by due process.
Public and legal record, yeah.
Oh, that reverb was from Rumble Chat, which is working. So
yes, so we have noises on Rumble now.
Yeah. Why don't you put one of those images up from like the last thing, and then people can go, "Hey, cool." What's the word I'm looking for? You know the word I'm looking for?
I don't know what word you're looking for.
I could say, look at this graph.
How about this? How about that? Do you want that? Look at that old can of Coke. That's awesome.
I've got this. I've got this email.
It sounds like you're really going for it. I think the top end's cutting off.
I'm looking into my microphone now, and it's like it's barely registering. So
whatever you did just before was making it cut out. I think it. I thought it was connection issues, but it's not. I think your top end is cutting out.
But like the gain is set way down on my microphone, and I was streaming earlier, and on OBS it was fine. It wasn't too hot. How do I turn gain down in this?
No, it's not gain. It's not gain. I think it's whatever setting. Like, you know, is there a thing where it like cuts out when you're too loud?
Yeah, I can see it's really blown out on this one. So
yeah.
So I'm testing the microphone now, and if I listen to myself, that sounds fine. So why is it blowing out there? So I've just tested myself on that, and it's fine. Automatically determine input sensitivity. Let's turn that off, and now I can just about put it there. And so yeah, minus 25 dB.
Yeah, I thought it was connection issues, but it's not. It's whatever you would do. It sounded like you were really shouting. It didn't sound like you were shouting, but I think it's like top end that's cutting out.
Yeah, well, was set, and it was this.
I think it's doing it again.
Stop shouting at me.
I think that's what it is, isn't it? I think it's like you've got some sort of like max sense. You got like something that doesn't blow people's ears out, but it's blowing your mic out instead. Hobbit, Hobbit, you're going to return to us, Hobbit. Are you there, Hobbit?
For the testing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's lagging. It's lagging, actually. Is that lag? That sounds like lag.
I don't think it's lag. I think it's like noise. It's got some sort of like noise, like top end noise filter, and I think that's what's cutting it out. Because you just fiddled with a gain, and now he's gone completely. Welcome to tech support issues. 14 tech support issues. Nope, he's gone. Hobbit's gone.
Nope, he's... Anyway, moving on. I guess. I think he's lagging. Are you there, Hobbit? Do we have to get a sound?
I am here.
Yeah. What happened? I thought we were gonna have to call in I thought we were gonna have to call in Mystic Meg.
But Gilded, for whatever reason, episode absolutely fine. Now it's like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna fuck with you. Reason whatsoever. It's not the microphone.
It's your voice. It's the high pitch. I think it's the high pitch. It's not picking up. When you shout, when you go to shout or like raise your voice, it kind of cuts out.
Yeah, so I think you've got some sort of like, what's it called? Where it goes too loud and it cuts it out. Is that your compression? Is it? No, compression's how far away from the mic, isn't it? I think.
But again, I'm testing my. Fine. So I don't even know why I'm bothering with this. Because look,
if you talk at that level, it's fine.
But this is the level I normally talk at.
Oh, okay then. I don't know what's going on then.
Fuck's sake.
So where do we want to start with the Dame Janet report then?
Don't care.
Top of the pops. There's a whole bit on top of the pops.
Graphs. 789, page 789 and 790.
789.
Associated programs, top of the pops is the main one.
Under 16 and over 16.
Or the over-unders. Oh, how do I change the orientation of this? There we go. Now I can read it. So I've just rotated it so I can read without
it up and rotate it and send me the pictures, and then I'll put some graphs.
Yeah.
Up. Breakdown of victims by age range. That would be an interesting one. Breakdown of victims by nature of inappropriate sexual conduct. Some of the stuff they're making graphs out of.
What is it? How many people got fingered in the bum? Is that what?
Let's do that one as well. Rape.
On the first date.
That's grim.
Date.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine being that report, like having to do that. That is actually quite grim, actually. When you think about it.
You just data in.
Imagine being the interviewer. Imagine the person having to interview those people and being like, okay, I have to ask you this.
Well, imagine just inputting it like like you don't. Yeah. Do you watch Rumours, Stories, and Jokes? Should we start with that? Should we start with the funny stuff?
Go on.
I enjoy some jokes.
Yeah, that's jokes.
Hold on, I've got to find page 435, which isn't page 435.
Oh, there's appendixes as well.
Hold on a sec. Has this been redacted?
Oh, there's an appendix of the BBC management structure.
Yeah.
So I'll post that in there as well, and then you can have a look at this. Oh, did you know that he did a thing called Saville's Travels?
Yes, I did hear of Saville's Travels.
And now, using BBC taxpayer funds, we are going to send Jimmy Savile to Cambodia. He was in a show called Sir Pedo Fox, which I think even back in the 70s, even back in the 70s, that was a bit of a,
the Saville. So this is Chapter 7, Rumours, Stories and Jokes. The Saville investigation invited information from a wide range of people who'd worked at the BBC. We encouraged current and former employees to contact us with any information they had about Saville, including rumours and stories they had heard. This kind of material was important not in order to establish the truth of what Saville did, or to establish actual knowledge on the part of the BBC, for which purposes it would be useless, but in order to get some idea of whether there may have been any general view that Saville's sexual conduct was in any way unlawful or inappropriate. Pretty much if you're having sex with people and they don't want it, that's pretty inappropriate. And if so, in what respects? We were also anxious to establish at what level or levels in the BBC such rumours and stories circulated. Yeah, this is a bit boring. Number of witnesses we saw and their evidence on this question means they were not, in fact, able either to draw any statistical conclusions from the evidence, see pie charts, or come to any clear conclusion that any general belief existed. So what? This is fucking hell. You have to translate this stuff because it's not real human speak, is it?
Why the fuck do they do that?
So they saw a load of witnesses. So they were not, in fact, able to draw any statistical conclusions from the evidence or come to any clear conclusion that any general belief existed. So, I don't know. I think it sounds like they're covering for the BBC. Just remember, anybody that ever watched Jimmy Savile, it's your fault. What's that?
A picture there, he's drinking a tin of Coke and it looks like a tin.
Yeah.
If you drink Coca-Cola, then you drink something Jimmy Savile drinks.
Well, you know who drank Coca-Cola, don't you?
Jimmy Savile.
To paraphrase an old joke. In summary, we took statements or heard evidence from 117 witnesses who had worked at the BBC and who had heard rumours and stories about Savile's sexual conduct. 76 of them had worked with him and 47 had not. You're going to have to bear with me. I'm a bit snotty tonight.
Yeah.
It's not. Fuck.
You get snotty nose when you have to like do any radio stuff ever.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a bit hay fevery, so it's like double bubble, double snot bubble.
Did you get local honey?
No, I need to get some local honey.
Get local honey. For local honey for local people contains local pollen sourced locally. What will help with your hay fever?
76 of them had worked with him, and 41 had not. Oh yeah, that is 100. Is that 117? Yeah, it is, isn't it? On the other hand, we heard from 180 witnesses who worked at the BBC but did not hear rumours about Savile's sexual conduct. Of those, 90 worked with him and 90 did not. Many of the witnesses worked for the BBC for a long time, often decades. I wish to stress that this group of witnesses was not selected as representative or of a cross-section of BBC people. The witnesses were self-selected. Where's the jokes? Rumours.
The jokes are coming. Oh, yeah, I know. One cannibal goes to another.
About this. That's the joke, right?
The joke is one cannibal and goes to another cannibal, right? They're both eating this cloud, and he turns to the other and he says, "This tastes funny to you."
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horse walks into a bar and the barman says, "Why the long face?"
Am I allowed to say the joke was blue and don't fit anymore?
I've got a new joke. Do you want to know it? What is Joe Biden?
Paedophile.
No,
a shitting president.
Did you ever hear about that one where he met?
According to Alex Jones.
Have you heard that? Have you heard that
one about the time he met the Pope and he shit himself?
Yeah, but what about the time he met Camilla and he blew off very loudly, and she talked about it for weeks. It was the only thing she could talk about because it was hilarious.
Oh right, yeah, because
he
did that, but I think like shitting yourself in front of the Pope tops that. That was just to distract from the time Jerry Nadler shat himself. I was going to say,
what about shitting yourself in front of Nancy Pelosi?
Well, that was to distract from the time. Yeah, what's his name? Shit himself. Jerry Nadler. The Fortean case of Jerry Nadler shitting himself live on stage.
Yeah, that's another event that they try and gaslight us that did never happen, doesn't it?
Well, crop dusting us about it.
just I love that. Just letting a big one go, and then Nancy Pelosi has to stand in it and then give a speech.
Yeah.
So the rumor in the BBC was that he was attracted to young girls. Only a few heard the rumor he was attracted to young boys. That is very young boys under the age of, say, 10 or 12. When asked what was understood by the expression young girls, roughly 17% of the group understood him to be interested in pre-pubertal girls under the age of 13. About 26% thought that he was interested in pubertal, but underage girls in the 13 to 15 range, and then about 22% thought he was interested in the 16 to 17 age group.
Is this some legalese way of saying prepubescent?
Yes.
Yeah, pre-pubertal. So obviously, prepubescent isn't correct. It should be prepubertal.
I would like to know what the difference is, if any.
Do you want to have a look it up, Hobbit?
I will look that up for you and get it on my search results.
And then I can read this, and then I don't have to stop the show and have a great amount of dead air. So, but underage girls in the 13 to 15.
Hey, Hobbit, can you also, after you've done that, can you look up cheerleaders for me?
So Wikipedia says that being prepubescent is not the same thing as being pre-adolescent.
Really?
If I look up pre-pubertal, what does that bring up? It brings up puberty. So someone that's pre-pubertal is before the age of puberty. Wow, I'm sure glad we cleared that up.
That's that cleared right up. Bang.
What is precocious puberty?
Bang and the grammar is cleared up.
What is precocious puberty? And Bing says, sorry, it looks like you've been signed up.
Girl has a period when she's about 10, I think.
Oh,
here we go. Mayo Clinic. Oh, there's a clinic for mayonnaise. Precocious puberty is when children's body begin to change into adult bodies too soon.
They only do white people at the Mayo Clinic.
The change is known as puberty. Most of the time, puberty occurs after age 8 and in girls, and after age 9 in boys. However, Black, Hispanic, and Native American children might naturally reach puberty earlier.
No way, really? 8 years old? Fucking
well, hell. They say, but they've been fucking with the hormones, so the puberty starts earlier. That's why, like, Zoomers look all sorts of fucked up, like hammerhead sharks.
That's like
hormones.
That's like Bad Boys 2. That's like Bad Boys 2, where I shall paraphrase, but and he says, Reggie, how old is Reggie? He's 15. Well, I thought that young man looked like he's about 30. I have paraphrased there. He did say it's like Martin Lawrence did say it in an unfortunate manner that was slightly different to what I said.
Oh, was he being urban about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing that all of our audience have gone to the pub.
Yeah.
Why?
It's a bit of a quiet one.
Oh, it's a nice day and it's quiet. Exactly.
Yeah. It's real quiet. Oh no, Frith and Interdimensional are here. Rumble.
Oh, I'm looking at the Rumble chat.
Fuck off, Riffwolf. Rumble isn't muted, you dickhead.
Don't give him an existential crisis now, Riffle.
Yeah. Is that a self-portrait of Jimmy?
Forget kittens.
Willy Bum Bum Frisk.
Can you guess what it is yet? Can you guess what it is?
Rolf Harris painted it for
him. Rolf's Cartoon Club. Oh, God, I remember it too vividly now.
I used to love Rolf's Cartoon Club. That was very informative.
Is that the one which had like the Looney Tune stuff? Because I like Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, that was it. That was. It's a real shame, but that was a really good show because he'd write it all out, and then he'd explain all of the in jokes in the cartoon before you watched it, wouldn't he? As well.
What if, like, and hear me out on this one? What if Ross Harris like genuinely loves children, but in an inappropriate way?
Well, he does love children, but he really shouldn't love them like that.
I know.
You know, like when they when they say feminists love dogs.
Oh yeah, maybe you know that Meatloaf song. I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Yeah.
Is that about Rolf Harris?
Yeah, I think it might have been, or Jimmy Savile.
Or Jimmy Savile.
There were some who had not applied their minds to what was meant by young girls, but when pressed, they said, "Have another go." You imagine that? Like, how old do you think? When Jimmy Savile's talking about young girls, what do you think? I don't know. Have another go. Is that how they pressed them? Did it?
I'll go on. Hazard a guess.
Go on.
It's for a good cause.
Go on. He's a bit noncy. Sure, you can figure out what he means by young girls.
Oh, I wouldn't like to hazard a guess, but go on then.
See, since you've pressed me for it, said that they thought they'd been told that Savile liked teenage girls, but not necessarily underage. Oh, sweet summer child. That's what you call
not necessarily underage, but
not necessarily.
Not necessarily underage, but he's not going to make any bones about it. Now then, how's about that then?
Some witnesses told me they assumed he was gay because he was a bachelor who never appeared to have a regular girlfriend.
Hey, like Cliff Richard.
Fuck off, Chris.
Allegedly.
Cliff Richard had a relationship with Jane Asher and also Sue Barker, the tennis player.
Asher, that's an interesting family name.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell that response is coming from women, didn't you? Like that was a woman's response. Oh, if you don't have a girlfriend, you must be gay.
Some had the impression he was asexual. Only one witness who gave evidence to the Saville investigation heard a rumour that he was bisexual, which in fact he was. Also, one witness to the Hall investigation said he had heard rumours that Saville might be bisexual. That's two then, isn't it? That's not one. Most of those who heard rumours about Savile's sexual life did not to appear to have been shocked by them. Many seem to have regarded them as amusing. No one to whom we spoke ever thought that he or she... Oh, he's just nonce some kids, that's funny.
Oh, he's just a prolific nonce, you know. It's a laugh.
Oh, Jimmy, what are you doing in that toilet with that 13-year-old? Yeah, you fucking...
Dead people.
That's amusing.
Dead people as well, Jimmy. You're a card, aren't you, eh? There's always one.
Oh, Jimmy will be Jimmy. That's our Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy...
Oh, Jimmy, why is it always you? No one to whom we spoke ever thought that he or she ought to report such a rumour to a personal authority. Most people who had heard the rumours assumed that other people had also heard them. Some also assumed that BBC management must be aware of Savile's reputation and didn't think it was for them to do anything about it. Oh, don't you just love the old days? There are a number
Do you just find it weird when Jimmy Savile calls himself the most Jewish Catholic you'll ever meet?
There were a number of specific rumours. Perhaps the most surprising was that several people, which is about 5 or 6... do you think several was about 5 or 6?
Well, it's more
I
than
always
3,
thought it
right?
meant 7.
Surely it
It's
means
more than
around
3,
the 7
right?
mark, so it's 6 or 7 or 7 or 8. I don't think it's 5 or 6, is it?
I think that could count as several. Where's it got to be a couple?
It's 4, right?
A couple's 2 or 3, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, several people heard that Saville was a necrophiliac. Well, he was until some rotten cunt split on him. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Some heard that he was a paedophile. No, not Jimmy. No, not Jimmy Saville.
Yeah.
For example, A25 heard a rumour that he was a pedo. That's in scare quotes. She told a female editor who appeared to be aware of the rumour, but advised A25 not to rock the boat in scare quotes. Others heard Others heard that he liked to have sex with people with disabilities, like lefties. Some heard that he took girls to his camper van for sex. Yeah, in the BBC. Am I right?
Just stop oil march.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Others heard that he took girls to his flat near Regent's Park. One thought the police were interested in him as a paedophile. What, you mean they wanted to go as well? What do they mean interested in him? What?
Were they going to share tips?
Are you ready for a strange?
Was Jimmy Saville ever a member of Pi, the paedophile information exchange?
So that guy basically was like, "Oh yeah, the police probably know he's a pedo, so I won't say anything."
It's not for me to say anything.
Carry on.
They know about it. If the police knew about it, then
I think the police must know he's a pedo, so I won't do anything. Yeah,
imagine that whole logic tree. We're like, right? Do I want to say anything about this? Not really. So what? How do I justify it? So, the police know about it, and it's all in hand. They're going to do something about it.
It's not that. It's like, I think I know. The police know about it.
I'm sure they know about it. They must do.
That's the guy. That guy thinks he's the main character, doesn't he? He's like, yeah. They must know, because I know, right? Yeah, it must be fine.
I know that he knows that V knows cough syrup.
Yeah. One very strange rumour was heard by Elizabeth McDowell, who worked for the BBC for many years, mainly in the continuing education department. While on attachment, she worked for a time in Television Centre. She recalled an occasion when having a drink with colleagues who worked in the light entertainment, being told that mothers take their daughters to Jimmy Saville for him to sort them out. Oh.
Mamas, don't take your daughters to Jimmy Saville.
Bring your daughter to the slaughter. Oh,
I just think it.
So what?
For some reason, I'm reminded that mamas don't teach your boys to be cowboys. Teach them to be lawyers and doctors.
What they went in and then came out to be sorted out in quotation.
Oh God! I think it's some it's like some version of the Tom Jones thing, isn't it?
Is that 1970s slang for have sex with?
Yeah, yes, it is. I think it's 1970s slang for losing their virginity.
I don't approve of this.
No.
Yeah, but what are the mothers getting out of it? Like, what is the daughter being transformed into?
Imagine you're the sort of person that gets a vicarious thrill out of knowing that your daughter's had sex with Jimmy Saville. Fucking hell.
Oh.
Oh, my daughter's met with Jimmy Saville. Yeah. I sacrificed her virginity to satisfy his lust.
She was getting, straight C's at school, but soon Jimmy fixed it.
Can you imagine that?
Mind you, knowing what we...
if I was 20 years younger, I'd have a bit of that Jimmy Saville. Oh, God, it's vile, isn't it?
Oh, he makes me clunge moist.
Wait, do you think it literally is like living vicariously through the fucking daughters? Is that what this is?
It has been observed on more than one occasion that mothers do live vicariously through their daughters.
Ah, okay then. That explains it then.
But Jimmy Saville, that's a woman who really fucking hates her. I think that's more on the lines of you fucking hate your daughter because she was younger and because she's younger and prettier than you. I think that's more on.
Believe it or not, there are. I've even heard of women that hate their daughters and that they're jealous that the husband pays more attention to the daughter than they do.
Oh my God, Freud would have a fucking.
They're jealous of their own flesh and blood. What she got that I ain't.
It was clear that the others present had heard this before and that they were talking about something sexual. They spoke about this in a matter-of-fact way, not jokingly, but not apparently concerned either. Miss McDowell did not report this conversation, as it was only rumour. This rumour struck me as so odd that I would have been tempted to think that Miss McDowell had either misheard or misremembered the occasion. Yeah, that is just odd. It's like, who's like, yeah, I really love my daughter, so I'm going to take her to have sex with Jimmy Savile.
Is there something we don't understand about the 1970 mentality where, like, rampant child abuse and neglect was just, like, you know, the fashion of the day?
I think neglect would be preferable to taking the kids to Jimmy Savile to get sorted out.
Neglect, child abuse, asbestos in your pudding. You know, it's all like
wow, schools were fucking riddled with asbestos, weren't they?
Still are in some places.
Do you remember your asbestos mats in Science Hub?
Yes, for the Bunsen burners, I have played with them quite a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had this thing, right? You'd have your Bunsen burner, and you'd have an asbestos mat to put on top of it, but you'd also have an asbestos gauze.
Oh, the asbestos gauze with the yeah, I remember that with the white circle that was asbestos, obviously.
That's it. You got it.
Yeah.
And they all say, "Don't play with it." We all did.
Yeah.
Well, probably the girls didn't, but you know, that's because girls are boring and
did
don't.
Did the teacher have to go? No, Hobbit, when we said don't play with it, we were talking about the asbestos gauze.
Yeah, don't play with the white stuff, Hobbit. Yeah.
There's Hobbit in science class.
Hobbit,
no, it's got
Hobbit
white
at the back of the room.
It's got white stuff all over it now. Oh no.
I resent the implication of this.
I just think of it. I just imagine like a young Hobbit is very much like one of those monkeys in the zoo that masturbates a lot.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. You know, there was this one guy in. He was only in like our school for like 2 weeks. He was caught masturbating in the toilets and then was expelled. And at the time, I mean, like, I didn't know him that well, but I felt sympathy.
Did his mum take him to Jimmy Savile to get sorted out?
Probably did, yeah. Jimmy Savile was available at the time. But I couldn't help but like feel sympathy for him. It's like you couldn't wait until you got home. You had to go and have a 5-knuckle shuffle in the bogs.
Bit weird. There's nothing about a school toilet that get me in the mood.
Yeah, exactly. Like, holy shit.
I was going to say that's the wank of desperation.
Yeah, that's when you know you got a problem. That's like doing crack in a fucking crack house, isn't it? That's when you need to have a look at yourself and realise you've got a problem there.
That's like doing crack when you've got 2 children to look after.
Imagine going to the next school and like... That's why we suspended from it.
Because I battered some kid. I battered some kid and putting him in a coma. That's what I'd say. I get expelled for.
I think he volunteered that he had to move. They were moving, so he's just moved into the area. And now I just thought, oh, that's sad. Now he's got to move away again. Oh no.
Maybe he hadn't just moved into the area. But maybe he'd been caught. Maybe he'd been caught masturbating in his previous school toilets.
Yeah, but I don't think he was going to say, "Oh yeah, guys, so I got expelled from my last school for having a wank in the toilets. Now, where's the loo? I need to go for like 5 minutes." Sorry, call of nature. You know how it is.
Anyway, so were it not so. They're saying she misheard or misremembered the occasion. Were it not for the fact there is evidence that Saville himself said something similar to C25 when he took her out for supper. See paragraph 593. No, I won't.
Just a reminder, if you have been affected by any of the issues brought in tonight's 40 words, please contact the police on 101 non-emergency number.
Yeah, just remember that if it is someone who's very much like Saville, who has inroads into the royal family and politicians, they won't do anything until he's dead. and then they'll go, we knew all about it when he was dead, and then they'll go, that's all right though.
Well, they'll give him a knighthood when he's alive because you know that's what you got to do with nonces is give them a knighthood.
Have we got to check the hard drives of everybody who gets a knighthood now?
I'm putting it this way: it's like you don't have to be a nonce to get a knighthood, but it sure seems to help.
Yeah, not all nonces get knighthoods, but
all knighthoods get nonces.
Yeah, we'll say it like.
How does this work? Yeah.
I was surprised it was meant to be unsaid, Hobbit.
That was me trying to dodge libel claims, Hobbit. That last.
Yeah,
bit.
exactly.
Oh, okay. In Minecraft. Oh shit! I was going to say something there. My Tourette's nearly made me slip.
An interesting point was made by Dr. Peter Scott Morgan, who, as a consultant, carried out some research for the BBC in 2003. You see, the BBC are all over this like white on rice, aren't they? They're on it. Like 2003, they're still investigating. They're going to get there in the end.
Yeah.
The BBC are just like the bounty. They always get their man, don't they? In the end, it doesn't matter whether he's just died or what, but they'll get him in the end.
Like the shark science guy, pay me some more money and I'll get back to you in 5 to 10 years.
So,
is
Jimmy Savile a nonce? Well, we've done some research into it. We found Jimmy Savile. We're not even sure if he's a person, let alone a nonce.
What?
Yeah. Please give us some more money and we'll come back to you in 10 years.
Yeah.
Non-status unknown.
As a consultant, carried out some research for the BBC in 2003 as part of the initiative known as Making It Happen, instigated by Greg Dyke. Are we allowed to call him Greg Dyke still, or do we have to call him Greg Lady in Comfortable Shoes now?
Making It Happen. I mean, at least they didn't call it Operation Make the White Stuff Come Out.
Operation Stop Jimmy touching the kids.
That was year 9 fucking physics class.
And I say to myself, make the white stuff come out.
In the course of his
can I just talk, just a brief aside, right? Can we just talk about America's aspiring Jimmy Savile, King Cobra JFS? He talked about the time he sexually abused a retarded girl in class. And in his quotes, he spunked on her tits, and she said, "Make the white stuff come out again."
Oh, look at this slander here. Oh. Maybe Savile bummed Mark Collett when he was at Leeds at uni in the late 90s. Just slander.
Well, until Mark Collett comes out and says otherwise, we'll just have to assume he is a victim of Jimmy Savile.
Have we ever actually heard Mark Collett disavow Jimmy Savile?
No. And also, how do we know Jimmy Savile wasn't in the same hotel room with him? What, 20 years ago?
Fifth Wolf says, can you pull up Jimmy's last tweets? They're quite bizarre.
Jimmy Savile was on Twitter?
Did he tweet?
Yeah.
All right. Me and the royal family go back 1,000,000 years. Now then, how's about that then?
In the course of his work...
I've actually seen weird tweets. Fucking Kate Watch later.
In the course of his work, Dr. Scott Morgan spoke to a large number of BBC staff. He was trying to establish what were the unwritten rules which governed behaviour within the BBC. One idea he was exploring is that there might be a group of people, the talent, who was so important to the BBC that their behaviour was outside any real control. They were too important to the BBC for them to be required to observe the rules and values which applied to everyone else. Gary Lineker!
I was just going to say, does Gary Lineker nick crisps from everybody?
Shit, yeah. Wasn't there recently a thing about some BBC sports presenter or something that done some naughty things?
Oh, shit.
No, I'm not saying it's Gary Lineker, but also...
What happened to that? What happened to that?
Gary Lineker.
Memory hold.
That died
Did just get memory hold or something?
A lot of people said, I hope it's Gary Lineker, didn't they? That's about
exactly. That's what triggered it. That's what triggered it. It's just
I'm not saying it's Gary Lineker, but I'm also saying it is Gary Lineker.
It's Gary Lineker is Schrodinger's BBC nonce.
Yeah.
We're not going to know until we open the hard drive.
Yeah, weird that. That got memory hold fast, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now then, how's about that? They're
Find out
moving
in
along
20 years
swiftly.
when whoever it is dead, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's when BBC will tell us.
When asking members of
That's
staff
scary
about
thing
this
to think.
concept, Dr. Scott Morgan would use Saville as an example of the member of the talent who in the past have been able to get away with unacceptable behaviour. In his case, sexual
Now, just for
misconduct
those
with
that
young
are hard of
girls.
hearing, Hemi said a member of the talent, not Taliban.
The talent. Now, very, very similar.
Not the Taliban talent.
Very similar ideas about young boys.
Oh yeah, they both were fond of boys dancing.
Yeah. He had been previously unaware of the rumours about Saville, but picked them up during the course of his interviews with BBC staff. Dr. Scott Morgan found that a significant proportion of the people to whom he mentioned Saville immediately showed they understood the point. In other words, the suggestion that Saville had got away with inappropriate sexual behaviour was not news to them. Some would respond by mentioning their own awareness of the rumours about Saville, such as that he was thought to be a necrophiliac. There's still no jokes yet.
I mean,
where's the jokes?
Oh, they're coming. They're coming.
Yeah. It would not be appropriate
Just
for me
like
to
Jimmy
set out...
Savile was.
It would not be appropriate for me to set out all the evidence of who heard what about Saville's sexual habits. However, I think it's important to mention a few particular names, if only to demonstrate that these rumours were heard by some people who were fairly senior in the BBC, or if not actually part of management structure, were of some standing within the BBC. I also include the evidence of some senior people who told me they did not hear any rumours about Saville. I think if you didn't hear any, then you weren't really trying. Lord Burt, former Director General, told us that he had never heard any rumours at all about Saville. He added he was not aware that any of the other former senior BBC staff members to whom he had spoken since the Saville scandal had broken had heard such rumours either. None of the former Directors General we interviewed had heard rumours about Saville's sexual life. I think that's...
well, that's all right then.
Oh, yeah, well, that's fine. You obviously ran a tight ship, didn't you, if you didn't know about this?
Yeah. You know, it's not as if you can be expected to know what your staff are doing.
No. I mean, you're a really good boss if you didn't know that a prolific paedophile was working within your organisation. That's how you know.
And let's face it,
you're a really good...
Jimmy Savile was so insignificant there. It's not as if people, knew about him at all.
Well,
it's just like Jimmy Savile.
He was very good at covering it up. He didn't want anybody to know that he was up to all this stuff, did he?
No, I mean, who's Jimmy Savile again? It's not as if anybody in the BBC knew him.
It's not like he did it on Top of the Pops or anything, was it?
It's not like Hester Ranson, it was gushing lyrical about him on his death, about what a wonderful saint he was.
Yeah. Dame Hester Ranson heard that Saville was sexually interested in young girls. That's Dame Hester Ranson who started Childline.
Oh, what? Jimmy Savile raising money for Childline? That Hester Ranson.
Did he?
Yeah, he did a lot of charity work for the NSPCC and Childline.
But he didn't like to talk about it.
No, he's very good about the charity work. He didn't like to talk about it, no.
Oof, meet the Pet Shop Boys. That cracked me up. That was quite funny, that one was.
Oh, no. I was just thinking about Nicey and Smashy today.
Yeah. Do you know how many former Radio 1 DJs they upset with that sketch?
That's literally the bit I was thinking about, was just you talking about it, and then I was just thinking like Tony Blackburn seething about it.
Yeah, Kid Jensen. They're like an amalgam of all of them, like Noel Tinybeard. Do you remember when they're talking about Noel Tinybeard?
Well, it just, I remember when John Peel died, how Tony Blackburn was just like, I never liked him anyway. I just thought, you're such a petty cunt.
No one ever liked fucking Tony Blackburn. Just think of all the people that were foisted upon us that we never ever liked, like Jimmy Savile, Tony Blackburn. Like, I was desperately hoping that Tony Blackburn...
No, Jeremy Vine.
Wrapped up in Jeremy Vine. I'm talking more about kind of the old days ones that they...
Noel Coward.
Jeremy.
Noel Fielding.
No, I'm talking about the old ones like Brucey, like I couldn't stand fucking Brucey, not for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Didn't you want to go on Bruce's Price is Right?
Oh, mate,
Yeah, I would have done because the
What about Noel
Edmonds? Were pretty hot,
Edmonds?
weren't they?
What about Noel Edmonds?
Noel Edmonds.
I
I don't know.
really like
I don't know. I kind of grew up watching Saturday night TV. Used to be what's it?
What about that bloke that did the snooker program? Wasn't very funny.
Noel's House Party.
That's it. Noel's House Party. Yeah.
Which of these graphs do you want me to put on, Hobbit?
Oh, put on whichever takes you fancy. I like the pie charts. That's because I'm a fat bastard and I eat all the pies.
Contact.
Yeah.
Let's have a go at that one.
But also because pies. I like pies. I ate all the pies.
And Jimmy Savile was probably a member of the Pie, wasn't he?
Well, I was going to say, was he a member of Pie? Was he like giving tips on?
Was he exchanging information?
Did he have information that led to the arrest of Hillary Clinton, which he never divulged ever?
Nah, Jimmy Savile wouldn't have done that. Jimmy Savile's one of the boys, isn't he?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He wouldn't divulge that information.
Oh God, do you remember Tony Slattery as a TV presenter? Hobbit?
I've heard the name, yeah.
Oh, he was fucking everything. He was like on everything, and then he just disappeared. Like whoop, puff, gone, puff of smoke.
What happened to Richard Bacon?
Well, he used to do Blue Peter, and then he did a load of coke. He got caught doing that, so he had to apologise and leave. And now he just bitches about Trump, I think, on Twitters.
Oh, that's nice. Good to see that coke hasn't affected his faculty.
No.
So Dame Esther Ranson had heard that Savile was sexually interested in young girls. She first heard a rumour about him in the early 1970s from a researcher who had come into the BBC from a job in Fleet Street. What, just cleaning windows? Or just tell us it was a journalist. I don't, like, what job in Fleet Street?
Yeah.
Did he work in the newsagents there? Barber? What? He worked in Fleet Street. Oh, brilliant! Thanks, brilliant.
He was on the court of Fleet Street busking for money.
Fleet
Well,
Street
he did something on Fleet Street anyway. This geezer, he could have been doing hand jobs
He
for
was
cash.
news agents.
Hand
Was
jobs for
there,
cash.
was there
I
a
reckon he was
fucking
doing that.
mortuary on Fleet Street? That is a question.
I don't know. She heard that the people
What
making
about-
a programme about Savile in the ITV series This Is Your Life had wished to include the parents of a young girl with heart problems for whom Savile had provided financial help. No, what did you
that's
just
nice.
sing something then, Hobbit? I think you got the wrong one.
What? Da, da, da,
Oh
da.
no, you're right.
No, that's
you're right. I thought I heard you singing "Surprise, Surprise" for some reason. Hobbit. I don't know why.
I don't know the theme tune to Surprise Pop. I hate Cilla Black. I bet she nonced a whole bunch of them. I bet she's more prolific than fucking Savile.
Worse than that, she was mates with the Beatles.
Definitely a nonce.
John Lennon. This Is Your Life had wished to include the parents of a young girl with heart problems for whom Savile had provided financial help. The parents refused to allow that, and she said that the implication was there was another side to it, which was a darker side. So he was paying a girl with heart problems for sex.
Oh, Esther Ranson. How blatant racism against Jimmy Savile's charity work.
But she heard it was a rumour, but she didn't want to rock the
indeed.
boat. So Esther Ranson, the queen of Sunday night TV, decided that, she didn't.
But are you telling me that Esther Ranson got spooked?
Probably.
At the darky side?
But she said that this rumour was one of many which swirled around at the time in respect of all sorts of famous people. Oh, well, that means none of them are doing it then, does it? Dame Esther said
I guess that's okay then.
Dame Esther said she was told by a sound editor of Savile's Travels that Savile had recorded himself having sex with nurses at Stoke Mandeville. Oh my God, that is one sex tape I do not want to see surface.
No, then. What do you think's worse, that sex tape or the Ring doorbell one?
Jingle
Fuck!
jangle!
Oh no! Oh, that's not nice.
Oh, fixed it for you.
Now then.
Oh
God.
there. Oh. What would be
Remember,
worse?
if you have
what
been
would be
affected-
worse? The audio or actually seeing it? Because, like, with the audio, your brain's filling in the gaps, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, again, if you have been affected by any events in tonight's 40 words, please contact the police on 101. Speaking of which, Humberside Police have done a new thing.
What is the cure for having seen a Jimmy Savile sex tape?
Oh, what? There's a sex tape? I just got one. Oh, no.
I think you get one of the Pfizer jabs or the AstraZeneca one.
All the boosters. Take all the boosters. That'll block
all of
out
them. I want
memory.
all of the boosters. Then take up professional football.
Yeah.
Her personal experience of him that he was repulsive in the way he kissed her, or rather licked her. Licked her hand.
Oh, great.
No, licked her hand and upper arm when they met. Oh,
what a charmer. That's dead romantic, that is.
Well, he was just trying to get the salt off her skin, alright?
Is Jimmy Savile
just like to remind people, he's the most Catholic Jew you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Or the most Jewish Catholic you'll ever meet. Take your pick.
on.
He certainly did. Now then, how's about that then?
Or pick your lick.
Oh dear. On the ITV Exposure programme broadcast in October 2012, Miss Ransom, Ms. MS, is that Ms?
Ms.
Ransom.
I mean, she's got multiple sclerosis.
Oh, okay then. As she then said, we all blocked our ears to the gossip. They went, la 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 la, I've started Childline, I don't want to hear this. I feel that we in television, in his world, in some way colluded with him as a child, but yes, you did. Not that you feel in some way, you did. Because I now believe that's what he was. You did. Louis Theroux. Thoughts on Louis Theroux, Hobbit?
You admit to being an accessory to child abuse. Okay, very good.
Yeah, very good as the person who started Childline. Louis Theroux, the documentary filmmaker, heard rumours well before he joined the BBC in 1998 that Saville was a paedophile and child molester. He later also heard rumours that Saville was a necrophiliac and had a sexual interest in people with disabilities.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, is that why you liked Louis Theroux?
Well, they're not going to fight back, are they?
Oh, oh no. Do you think he went for like ones with no arms and no legs?
I was just thinking, do you think he would have done it to Harvey?
No, I think Harvey would have done it to him.
I know.
That's what they should. That's what what they should have done is stuck frozen pizzas to Jimmy Savile and put him in a cell with Harvey. And let God
that's a different sort.
And let God do the rest.
That's a different sort of child abuse. Just tell him that there's a PlayStation inside his belly.
There's a pasty inside his belly. Lord Grey, who was controller of BBC One in the mid-1980s, told Channel 4 News that he had fleetingly heard rumours about Saville, but he'd never heard anything he thought required investigation.
Oh, well, that's okay then.
Hey, did you know Jimmy Savile's a nonce? Yeah, but we don't really need to investigate, do we?
We'll have to.
I mean, I like said, well, I heard about these rumours, but it's nothing really you could take action on. Oh, by the way, here's damning evidence showing that he's a nonce.
Yeah.
Well, I've washed my hands of the matter.
We've got the tape from Thingy.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not
That's
fucking
it.
watching that tape.
Here's a meeting where you're saying, like, Jimmy Savile, can you like tone down the noncery? And Jimmy's going like, now then, let me tell you about who runs this place. Now then.
What was that, Fraser?
Well, that.
And I was just saying, well, kids these days with their fucking sex tapes. That's probably what he was saying, right?
Oh.
The TikTok vids and the sex
even
tapes.
Even though the fucking Betamax wasn't even invented yet, was it?
And their DNA evidence and signs of rectal abuse.
Yeah.
Children in need, more like we need children to feed the likes of Saville. Oof.
Or like Desta Ranson needs children to feed her demonic appetite.
What else? Jim Davidson did a.
She's been very quiet ever since all this stuff, hasn't she?
Who was?
I think she's like, if she stays out of the limelight, no one will mention like, hey, you're buddies with Jimmy Savile, weren't you, Esther Ranson?
Yeah, I think she has. She's done the woe is me thing. Oh, woe is me. I knew all about it, but I didn't want to say anything.
I'm just a poor innocent woman like Myra Hindley. I couldn't have been responsible for any of this.
John Helm, who was eventually head of Outside Broadcasts, said there were rumours about whether Savile was bisexual or perhaps even asexual. Well, a bit of difference between the two.
Asexual as in he will have asex with children.
Do you know the definition of a bisexual, Hobbit?
Yeah, it's when you slip off your bicycle and it goes up your bum.
No, it's when you fancy women as much as the next man. Hey.
Boom, boom.
Sir Terry Wogan, who died in January 2016, is reported to have described a conversation about Savile with the well-known columnist Gene Rook, in which she asked, when are they going to expose him? And he replied, that's your job. Oof. Fucking hell. Go on, Terry. I always kind of liked him. He was a bit boring, but I did like Terry Wogan. He was obviously a bit of a lad, weren't he?
I found him insufferably boring.
He was great. He did a really, really good job of the Eurovision, though. He was really good at mocking Eurovision.
Yeah, because Eurovision's shit, and it's always been shit. But no, the worst bit of my childhood growing up was Terry Wogan on TV, and my parents insisting on watching him. I'm like, why?
Do you remember when he had David Icke on in the turquoise tracksuit?
I've seen the clips of it. I didn't watch it during the time.
But Terry Wogan talked about some weird stuff as well. Like, he talked about the, you know, when you put razor blades in the pyramid and it sharpens them. He talked about that. He talked about some weird stuff. Terry Wogan did. Oh,
I heard about the orgone self-sharpening pyramid thing, and that's something that was just relegated to the 90s. We don't ever hear about that anymore.
Yeah, and David Icke.
And David Icke.
No, we still hear David Icke. He's still relevant.
David Icke being the son of God. He's kind of relegated that bit to the 90s, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. I think he tried to explain, like, we're all sons of God. And it's like, we're creating God's image. But that's not what you said at the time.
No, I heard him. His cope that I heard about it was that he'd had this... He'd gone out to see some holy man or something, and he'd had this enormous, like... burst of like some sort of energy, and he was overdosing on that energy, and that's why he thought he was the ghost, the church son of God. Yeah,
he explains that when he was having his big thing at the time.
Yeah,
Vision Quest.
He was having a. I think he later on said,
"Look." Then did he?
Yeah, well, no.
He said that he had a nervous breakdown, and he had it quite publicly as nervous breakdown, but people just seemed to think it was funny, and they made fun of him for it.
That's because he was saying like some really stupid nonsense about yogic flying.
That's
and
when
stuff like that.
Like, having dealt with a lot of people that have had mental breakdowns, they do say a lot of weird shit, and some of it's really annoying too.
Like what?
I'm the son of God.
I've probably
like shape-shifting reptilians. Is that one of them? Do they mention those?
Well, they'll tell you, they've got her, and I can't go to the police about it because they'll feed her to the dogs. Yeah. And then you ring up the police and tell them what's happened, and then they go and get a wellness check from the police.
And then he rings you up and says, what did you tell the police about that for?
And then they get sectioned. And and then there's the time where they think,
because is it, Hobbit?
or then there's the time where, and this is someone else, by the way, and they're like, these wasps don't sting me. That's because I'm reincarnated Saint Francis of Assisi. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, okay. Then, like my grandmother used to say, when he gets like that, just say, "We are men." because he's not looking for like a conversation. He's just looking for you to agree, and then you can move on. Hopefully. So yeah,
I'm related to you, Hobbit.
yeah. Some of these people are. Some of them are friends. But
they all come from Belgium because it sounds very specific. Francis of Assisi. That sounds a very French-esque.
No, all of these.
No, he was Italian, weren't he, Francis of Assisi?
Look, all of these mental health incidents have happened in England.
Ian's mentioned Kevin Keegan. I've got to mention Kevin Keegan. Like, he had the best mental breakdown when he blew the title in '96. I remember that. That was funny. But it's not as funny as the time Kevin Keegan went blah 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 and may God strike me down if I'm wrong or something, and then a bulb blew in the studio, didn't it? You remember that one?
Fuck me. Yeah, that's like the time when they elected the current pope, and then like lightning struck St. Paul's Basilica. And it's like, I took notice of that omen. It's not what I would have described as a positive omen.
No. What? Remember that? Oh, remember that video of that woman saying God should strike me down if like whatever, and she collapsed and had a seizure.
Oh shit! Do you remember that COVID woman that was jumping around on stage saying how great it was?
Yeah.
And then bomb.
Yeah. And God should strike me down or whatever.
Oh, is that what she said?
Yeah, something like that. She mentioned God and
thought she was fucking around.
No. She was like, "Oh, Jesus loves me" for something, and then like she collapses.
Yeah. It's like they really are. I know people.
God, when you're like trying to,
Sometimes you just shouldn't take the Lord's name in vain. There are consequences to it.
Yeah.
And like occasionally when these dumb fools die, I'm just like, yeah, they did it.
So Terry Wogan said, it's your job to expose him, and so then she says, I assume that he meant that it was the job of the press, not of Mrs. Rook personally. Well, just fucking anybody. That'd be nice. So Terry is reported commented to the press, and nobody ever did expose him, even though everyone had heard the rumours. We attempted to speak to Sir Terry in 2014, but unfortunately he said he was too busy working on children in need. We then asked him via email whether he could confirm the accuracy of the press report, to which he replied that Miss Rook had said, when is somebody going to tell the truth about him, or something along those lines, but his recollection that he had not replied to her directly, but he had only thought to himself, surely that's your job. He added that he knew nothing about Saville other than vague rumour, which he said, Terry, fucking hell, I'm blanking at his name already. I only read it 2 seconds.
Jerry Adams.
Terry Wogan. Jerry Adams, who surely knows somebody with a timer. Terry. Yeah. I mean, who's going to go like if it's like celebrity fight, like Terry Wogan versus Saville, who's everyone going to back in that? It's going to be
No, I'm not saying that this is like the gospel truth, right? But I'm also saying, have you ever noticed that like Jerry Adams and Terry Wogan never been seen in a room together at the same time?
Well, they won't be now, will they? He's dead.
Yeah, but I'm also saying that never been seen in the room at the same time.
Andy Kershaw, who became Andy Kershaw. Do you remember Andy Kershaw? He's like Northern, isn't he?
Is it him or is it Mark? Andy Kershaw, that one that did that fucking shit radio show before John Peel, where it's like, oh, I'm going to play some African music, and it's all this, and then it's like some woman on it singing, and Andy Kershaw's like, oh, this is fucking great, isn't it? This is the best music in the world.
You ain't got the accent right. Andy Kershaw used to talk like that, I think, a bit like that, I think.
Or I love her, I'm Andy Kershaw.
No, it weren't that.
But no, Andy Kershaw's accent.
It was more of a northern, like Manchester-y type of Andy Kershaw.
Well, well, that's more West Country, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not. It's not. It's like more of a mank. It's more of a mank accent. I can't really do it properly. It's quite hard to do.
Well, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Who became a Radio 1 disc jockey and presenter, first heard rumours and stories about Saville while at Leeds University in the early 1980s. As entertainment secretary, he came to know people involved in the entertainment business in the city. He heard from many sources that in the 50s and 60s, Saville had a reputation as a gangland enforcer who would personally use physical violence against anyone who upset those who ran the nightclubs or dance halls in Leeds. When Mr. Kershaw arrived at the BBC... Oh, fucking thing. What's that? When Mr. Kershaw arrived at the BBC, he was advised by John Walters, who had in the past produced programmes with Saville, to steer clear of Saville because he was a bad lot and a nasty piece of work. Mr. Kershaw found that was so. He heard stories relating to Saville's sexual interest in underage girls. For example, it was said that he had sex with young teenage girls in his camper van. He never heard any rumours that Saville was interested in young children, either boys or girls, only teenage girls. Mr. Kershaw added that these rumours had been rife throughout the entertainment industry and were not limited to the BBC. He believed that the press were also aware of them. Liz Kershaw, the Radio 1 disc jockey, presenter, and sister of Andy Kershaw, heard stories that Saville had sex with teenage girls. She heard a story about Saville having sex in his caravan while his production staff were outside. Imagine that, hearing fucking Jimmy Saville on
caravan or camper van, what is it?
Camper van.
Caravan.
Sorry, caravan, not camper van.
Yeah, because in the previous one...
Imagine that. Is that like the worst punishment of all? Like having to be outside hearing Jimmy Saville making sex noises?
Or when you're trying to discuss the minutes of a meeting with him. Like,
now then.
Waddy. You remember what's his name on Mock the Week, and he used to do those impressions of Jimmy Saville, and then Jimmy Saville died. It's like, oh, I can't do these anymore. Oh no.
Oh yeah. No, I nobody really liked him. I don't know why people make out he was so popular, because I don't know anybody who really liked him at all.
Growing up as a kid, I thought...
like people tell you that like Westlife were really popular and then had more number ones than the Beatles. Like, whoever talks about Westlife now, they're just gone, aren't they?
I mean, is that true?
Apparently they did.
Westlife. Oh shit, Westlife.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people say they have more number ones than the Beatles, or fastest selling songs or whatever than the Beatles. It's really weird how they don't exist anymore.
I can't even remember a Westlife song.
Oh, I know. I Want You Back for Good.
Is that one?
That.
Yeah, same difference.
I think they did Flying Without Wings. I think that's Falling, though.
What about Sowing the Seeds of Love?
Wasn't that Robbie Williams?
Sowing the Seeds
No, Westlife was Ronan,
love.
weren't it? Ronan Kid. No, that was Boyzone. Westlife were the other... I don't think any of them are literally... Westlife are the gay one that died.
That's George
that was
Michael
as well. No, I literally can't name anybody in Westlife. Yeah. All of my Westlife knowledge is actually Boyzone knowledge. I can't remember anybody that was in Westlife.
I don't think even the people in Westlife remember
Westlife was the fat one that had sex with Kerry Katona. What was he? I can't remember his name.
Harvey Price.
That'll do. Harvey Price from West.
Yeah.
Harvey Price was Westlife was Harvey Price.
Yep, and also no, that's it. That's the only one I know that's in it.
It was Westlife and Frankie Boyle.
Oh, Peter Andre and Harvey Price were in. There we go. There's a father and son double act.
And Vic Reeves.
Vic Reeves was in it?
Yeah.
What was he do? Just like generally acting creepy in the corner?
Vic Reeves is funny.
Yeah, so people say that about Jimmy Savile as well. And the jury's still out on that. Anyway,
I don't think
supposed to be some jokes
the jury's made its verdict on that. Yeah, he is creepy.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I'm saying the same about Vic Reeves. Don't trust him.
You leave Vic Reeves alone. You should watch some Vic Reeves Rogues Gallery. That's a really good TV.
Well, let's see what Esther Ranson has to say about Vic Reeves.
He's a very good bloke. David Treadway, world chief assistant BBC Radio 2 in the early 1980s. That's really poorly written. Heard rumours that Saville liked sex with young girls. He thought that meant girls in their mid to late teens. Yeah, because when you talk about young girls, I'm obviously talking about girls who are actually women.
Yes.
Yeah, and Saville's talking about girls that are like, watching Teletubbies. Was that a thing back in Saville's time?
Teletubbies.
Say,
now then.
The thing that really annoyed me at Teletubbies, it just repeated itself after it did its thing.
Fucking hated that. My sister was watching it at the time. And
I've
got
again,
lads. Teletubbies, only instead of the baby that's the son, it's Jimmy Savile's face.
Oh no.
What if instead of that being the face, it's that fat one from Shooting Stars?
Yeah.
Lizzo.
Dust. No, the only guy in the village. What's his name?
Matt Lucas.
Matt Lucas, that's his name.
He looks like a baby.
George Dawes,
acts like a baby.
The man with the scores, George Dawes.
Not to be confused with Marjorie Dawes.
No, she runs the Slimming Club, doesn't she? You can eat dust, can't you?
I like the half the calories diet because it's half the calories you can have.
Do you think Teletubbies were dickhead came from? Where dickhead came from?
Where what came from?
Dickhead, because of fucking Lala.
No,
Lala, the other one with the.
Dickhead was way before that.
Sure.
Yeah, you remember Jasper Carrot used to do Dickhead, didn't he, Hobbit? He used to do the action, didn't he?
I didn't know that, but yeah, Jasper Carrot was before Teletubbies. Teletubbies was mid-90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Jasper Carrot was what? Mid-90s as well, right?
Early 90s.
Late 80s as well, because he did... do you remember when he did Magic Roundabout?
No.
Oh, no. I had a few...
I don't know what the word apoplexy is.
Apoplexy.
Yeah, like you said.
Yeah.
Is it something to do with speech? Apoplexy.
So
no,
he was writing it.
Apoplectic with rage. I can't remember what apoplexy means, but I know it's like it's.
I think Crichton tried to do apoplexy in Red Dwarf, where he was trying to do two different motions at the same time.
Oh, you're one of those special people.
Well, so the reason he went into...
Do you know what apoplexy means, Hobbit? Refers to the rupture of an internal organ and the associated symptoms.
Okay, that's not very nice because
historically it's described as what is known as a hemorrhagic stroke, involving a ruptured blood vessel in the brain.
I think this explains what happened with Jasper Carrot then, because he said he was in Los Angeles in a taxi and they were queuing at traffic and the car in front of it had the license plate that was registered as bollocks.
Yeah.
And then he went into an apoplexy of laughter.
He had a hemorrhagic blood clot.
Yes, and the taxi driver was concerned because Jasper Carrot is there dying in his taxi of laughter.
No, he's used apoplexy in an older stand-up. He said about someone being apoplectic with rage.
Yeah, they bust a gut.
Yeah. Well, blood vessel.
I'm busting a gut over this Jimmy Savile stuff, I must admit.
Derek Chinnery. That's an amazing name, that isn't it? Chinnery. Is that like a
British Mr. Chinnery?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chinnery. Wasn't he in Dad's Army?
Don't know. Derek Chinnery.
I'm sure he wasn't like the vicar's warden or something, Mr. Chinnery.
Don't know. You could find out, Hobbit.
Oh no, Mr. Chinnery was the butcher in League of Gentlemen.
Ah. Oh, the League of
Gentlemen. Now then,
Mr.
Chinnery.
That was funny. They're probably all woke. They're probably all woke now. It wouldn't be half as funny as it was. Like Babs. Like probably Babs is going to get cut out of
They
future.
have to apologise for their behaviour of depicting transsexuals as dangerous sexual deviants.
It looks like a butcher's block down there near the Nautner summits.
Oh, God.
Because the vet did Babs sex change, didn't he?
You know.
It's also the bit where, like, the local shop are looking for a no-tell to be their locally wedded wife to David.
It took
You
me
a
years to
no-tell,
figure out
Rob?
what a no-tell. It's a woman, isn't it? It's a man without a cock. It's someone without a cock.
Yeah, it's someone without a tail.
Yeah.
No tail.
Is it a no-tail?
Well, I've got Nelt down there. Best you have a look.
Didn't Babs have a baby with David because he's gone all weird?
Oh, yeah, but I think that's when the local shop gets burnt down.
Oh yeah, because they raid it. The locals raid it and set fire to it.
Yeah. Is heaven local, Edward? Yes, Tubbs. It's very local. Oh, good.
Do you remember when Tubbs pissed in the car fuel tank so they could
Yeah,
driving?
it's like, I left the fish. Yeah. League of Gentlemen, why wasn't Jimmy Savile on that? He'd have been a dead ringer for like...
Jimmy Savile should have been the mayor in the League of Gentlemen.
It's been a fucking pleasure. Now then.
Now please, do not swear.
I'll fucking try my best. Do you remember his song, I'm a
Did you know
cunt?
Royston Vasey, the name of the village, is actually...
Yes,
is
yes, I do.
Yeah.
Roy Chubby Brown is Royston Vasey.
Yeah.
And
And
do you remember
Royston's a
Royston...
big-time drug dealer in Middlesbrough, apparently.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
can imagine that. You know Royston Vasey's song, I'm a cunt, he's a cunt?
Yeah.
It's a great song. It wasn't about Jimmy Savile, though.
Yeah.
We're getting to the jokes. Trust us, guys. There's going to be jokes here. Dame
Apparently
Edna's
there are
written
gonna be
some
jokes.
great jokes.
Derek Chinnery, who was head of BBC Radio 1 in the 1970s and became
Oh, that's why
controller of
we're
Radio
talking about League of
in
Gentlemen.
the late 90s. Oh, yeah.
It's
Derek
like, why
Chinnery,
are
that's
we talking about League... Yeah, Mr. Chinnery.
accepted when he spoke to the Savile investigation that he must have been aware in the early 70s there were rumours about Savile's interest in girls, although he has no personal recollection. Like, there's a lot of people have really bad memories that work for the BBC. Can't quite remember, can't quite recall, I'm not sure.
Oh, my memory's not so good, capiche?
Mr. Chinnery died in... I'll see you all right when I get my new glasses. Mr. Chinnery died in March 2015. I was told by Doreen Davies, and I love the names at the BBC. An executive... It's like so like British, isn't it? The names at the BBC, how the names used to be.
It's racist and bigoted.
Yeah. An executive producer in BBC Radio 1 who attended a meeting between Mr. Chinnery and Savile, probably in 1973. The minute Mr. Chinnery asked Savile about rumours that he had young girls staying in his London flat. Do you reckon Chinnery just did? Could you just not, bro? Could you just not?
You think Chinnery is like Godwinson?
The SJJ. Could you just not, bro?
Bro, I'm trying to do some moon rocks here, bro. Could you just not?
I'm trying to run the BBC here. Could you just not, bro? I'm trying to run a radio station that's aimed at a teenage demographic. Could you just not, Jimmy? Could you just not, bro?
Oh, I know. Let me get up in them teenagers, as the youngsters say these days. Now then, how's about that then? See, I'm still culturally relevant. I am Sir Jimmy Savile.
Now then, I've been up in more guts than a butcher. Oh God, that's awful.
I'm the most Jewish Catholic you'll ever meet. I'm Jimmy Savile now.
Yeah. So he asked Savile about rumours he had young girls staying in his London flat. Miss Davies said that Savile had agreed that. I think that means Mr. Doreen Davies, and it is Muzz Davies. Said that Savile had agreed, so she's more like, can you just not, bro? said that Saville had agreed that was so, but he said he invited the girls to come and stay in sleeping bags on the lounge floor, much like Michael Jackson. And no, they always slept on the floor. They would be offered tea in the morning and would then leave. Ms. Davies said that Mr. Chinnery had accepted this explanation. So he just like, can you just not, bro? Can you just not, bro? We're looking bad, bro.
All right, then. I promise not. Wink, wink.
Johnny Beerlin, eventually controller of BBC Radio 1, heard that Saville liked young girls but did not hear that these were underage. Oh, that's all right, then. He said that Saville used to say that the reason he wrote a column for The People, which he did for many years, was because these people, they don't shit on their own, John. So if I write for The People, they'll never write anything nasty about me. Richard Wilson joined the BBC in 1991 and left in 1996 as a senior producer. He'd heard many rumours that Jimmy Savile fucks kids. Ooh.
Rude.
Spicy. Yeah. Was that just did Richard Wilson speak to him and can you just not, bro? Can you just not? Jeff Simpson, and a press officer in the 80s and 90s, heard that Saville had sex with young girls and also girls who were in hospital. He thought the girls were young, but that's the way it's written. He liked young girls and also girls that are in hospital. Is that a euphemism for something? I don't know.
So the NHS as well knew about this. Okay, yeah. Sure.
Our NHS.
Yeah.
He thought the girls were young, but he didn't know how young. He heard a story that Saville had been having sex with a young girl in a camper van while the producer of Saville's Travels was driving.
Young girl, you can have sex with Jimmy Saville. I said, young girl.
Young girl.
You can get sexually abused.
You wanna go down? I said, young girl.
You can end up as a statistic. I said, young girl.
In Jimmy's camper van.
Damn. It's fun to stay in Jimmy's camper van. It's fun to stay at Jimmy's camper van.
The producer, Ted Beston, denies the truth of that rumour. He says the whole time he was going, Jimmy, can you just not, bro? Mr. Simpson also heard that Saville would invite girls back to his flat.
Mr. Simpson.
Pete Murray, the disc jockey and presenter. The disc jockey and presenter. You know, the Pete Murray. You remember him, don't you, Hobbit?
The only one, yeah.
There's only one Pete Murray.
He said that there were general rumours in the 60s, 70s and 80s that Saville had a sexual predilection for pubescent girls. So pubescent, like right on the line.
Oh, wait, we're not using pubicant now.
No. Alan Monaghan.
What was that term? Was it pubicant? Pubant, that was it.
Alan Monaghan, who eventually became Chief Publicity Officer for Radio 1, Chief Publicity Officer for Radio, recalled the disc jockeys of BBC Radio 1 had told him that Saville had a predilection for young girls, but never mind, Alan. There you go. Just.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine now. Then, how's about then?
I can't do that. I can't remember the what's it called? The Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's what it needs, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. The da 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 da. Something like that.
Yeah. Roger Cook, the investigative journalist, heard rumours about Saville being sexually interested in young and old, able-bodied and otherwise. So literally not fuzzy.
So he's an equal opportunities nonce.
He's an equal opportunities rapist.
Well, he's just putting in part of the BBC's, broad and inclusive Jewish Catholic charter.
He's rape sexual, isn't he? Although
again,
I believe
he's the most
are they called struggle
sex
sexual now, are they, Hobbit?
I think it's called Tikkum Olam, according to his Catholic Jewish beliefs.
He received 2 anonymous communications at Broadcasting House. One a letter, the other a telephone call, alleging that Saville abused patients at Stoke Mandeville Hospital. He also heard a version of the story about a lady bringing a cake she had baked as a present to Saville to thank him for all he'd done for the youth of this country. See the stories section below. Brian Clifford, who was head of information services from 1988 to the early 1990s, said there are rumours that Saville invited guests to his camper, but still not seeing any jokes yet. Saville invited guests to his camper van after Top of the Pops, but did not hear that these guests were underage girls. Well, that's all right then.
Oh, I've got a Jimmy Savile joke. What's the best thing about fucking 26-year-olds?
Don't know.
There's 20 of them.
Oh,
No, Hobbit.
Oh, the Jimmy Savile joke? That's a Jimmy Savile.
oh.
Now then, how's about that then?
Derek Wiseman, who became a... Wait, you know the difference between Jimmy Savile and a greyhound, don't you?
No.
A greyhound has to wait for their hair.
Oh.
Derek
no.
Wiseman... Derek Wiseman, who became a... Go on then.
Dying.
What's the difference between Abu Hamza and Jimmy Savile?
Don't know.
Well, one's got a knighthood and the rest I haven't...
Derek Wise, obviously MI5 cut him off there. Derek Wiseman, who became a project manager in the studio planning department and worked at the BBC.
Not suicidal.
So
I do not have evidence that will lead to the arrest of Jimmy Savile.
This dude worked from BBC from 1969 till 1994. Heard rumours about Saville being a womaniser and that maybe he took advantage of the groupies who followed him around. But Mr. Wiseman said no one would have thought that the young people might have been underage. Well, perish the thought. Jimmy Savile was a nonce, eh? He said that there was a perception at the time the young girls were chasing the men.
He's only worked for the BBC for 30 years. That's barely enough time to get your bum on the chair.
Yeah. Chasing the men and the pop stars and their associates, and that they were sexually available. Well, that's all right then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's. Oh well, they were asking for it, so nothing we could do, right?
Well, you know,
Well,
how are you
they were
supposed to
just
keep these young girls away
wanted
from
it, right?
paedophiles?
Yeah.
Nicky
could say no to the allure of Jimmy Savile.
Oh well, you know, he was so he was so what's the word I'm thinking of? Charismatic.
The BBC wanted to kick him out, but the British public were just like, "No, we need more of him."
There would have been a massive revolt. There would have been a massive revolt if they'd have tried to get rid of Jimmy Savile, wouldn't there?
It would have made the poll tax riots look like a picnic in comparison.
Nicky Campbell, the radio disc jockey and television presenter, heard rumours that Savile was a necrophiliac, but he thought it was utterly incredible and regarded it as an urban myth. Well, you know, you just wouldn't look at Jimmy. You know he's not going to be the sort of man that has sex with corpses, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he just, you know, when I think of a sensible, that's normal normie, I think of Sir Jimmy Savile, MBE, OBE,
NTSC,
OBS, BLP, NTSC,
NTSC, PAL, PSN,
DCAM,
Xbox.
Yeah. BBC.
His personal impression was that Savile was sexless. Mike Reed, the radio disc jockey and presenter, not the Mike Reed, the comedian, the other Mike Reed, the unfunny one. Heard talk about Jimmy and his young ladies whilst working for BBC Radio 1. Never gave any thought to what age the expression young ladies meant. Well, of course you wouldn't, would you? Like I say, one look at Jimmy and you think, well, there's a man it's going to all be above board with, isn't it?
Yeah, Mr. I have my hair done like Myra. I mean, that's there's nothing suspicious about that. Nothing in the report about, oh yeah, he styled his hair after Myra Hindley.
Yeah.
Was in frequent correspondence with Myra Hindley. Fucking hell.
Ed Stewart, who died recently, was a radio disc jockey and presenter. He was not interviewed by the Savile investigation, but was reported as having told The Sun that the Top of the Pops hosts used to warn each other not to go to Savile's parties because there were girls of all ages there and you couldn't be sure how young they were. Wow, it's just, what a great group of people the BBC, isn't it? They're just some amazing...
Yeah.
It's not their fault they're all deaf, dumb, blind, and fucking retarded, is it?
And seem to know not to go to Savile's parties because it's a nonce fest.
Yeah, even though they didn't know that he was into underage girls.
They didn't know. They just decided,
they didn't know he was
we're
into
not going to
underage
go
girls,
to
but at the same time, they knew not to go to his parties because underage girls were there.
Yeah, these two contradictory statements are fine.
Why can't both statements be true?
Yeah.
Mark Lawson, the journalist,
They are the
broadcaster and
BBC.
author, heard rumours about Saville before he joined the BBC and afterwards. Before joining the BBC, Mr. Lawson worked for various newspapers. He told the Saville investigation it was common knowledge that in that world in the late 1980s that Saville was interested in underage girls and that he was a groper.
He was a groper.
He was a groper.
I'd like to remind...
He used to ask neocons.
Nick Fuentes out on the date.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to remind people now, it is a criminal offence not to pay your TV licence if you receive live television broadcasts or use BBC iPlayer. Just a reminder, guys, it is a criminal offence not to pay the nonces at the BBC.
Yeah, but have you ever seen a picture of Nick Fuentes with Jimmy Savile? Weird.
No, you've never seen them in the same room together, have you?
No.
Now then, how's about that then?
While at the BBC, he heard it said that Savile was difficult to work with, was a groper of females over the age of consent. That had to be put in. And that he was a paedophile. So he liked groping females over the age of consent, and he was a paedophile.
Yeah.
What's that?
That was, what's his name? The guy from Machete. You motherfucker.
Andrew Neil, who made a Channel 4 programme, Is This Your Life, with Saville in 1995, said that long before then he had heard...
Is this a Poundland equivalent of This Is Your Life?
Yeah.
Is this your life?
Yeah. It's 75% different. It means he doesn't...
Is this your life? Answering rumours and shit, is this you?
Jimmy Savile,
is this your life?
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Jimmy, you had sex with a corpse in 1983. Here's that corpse now.
It's just like fly-blown corpse, just mouth agape, staring at him saying, I'm dead because of you, Jimmy.
Jimmy, I'm covered in jizz because of you. Jizz and flies. Was that too far? Was it a bit too... Was that a wrong...
No, so it's... Just to remember, if you are affected by events in tonight's 40 words, please contact the police on 101 and say you got the ick. Because apparently, according to Humberside Police, if someone gives you the ick, that is a criminal offence now.
To be fair, Sam would have gone to death row for giving people the ick, wouldn't he?
Just to remind, there's a new crime bodge out about Humberside Police. Yeah,
Humberside Police is trying to say that giving birds the ick is a criminal offence now.
They also say if you've got unwanted pop-up, they'll come and stop it. They'll put a stop to it. Are they saying if YouTube, with its ad stuff, if they start complaining, ring up Humberside Police, it's like, hey, YouTube's got adverts again.
Look, I'm trying to watch TRS and I keep getting pop-ups. Can you help me, please?
Yeah, well, Humberside Police, they want to hear from you.
Mark's constant begging is ruining my enjoyment of PWR.
Are you getting unwanted attention from people? Bring up Humberside Police and they'll come arrest them. Yeah. Peekaboo, more like Peekadon't.
So the gossip was the girls were underage. They were the kind of girls you might see on Top of the Pops. There was a minority view that it was...
Just briefly, I just want to say, now that Sir Jimmy Savile, OBE BBC is dead, we've got no crimes in this country anymore. Humberside Police are saying if there's a non-crime,
he was the
101.
one and only elite paedophile. He was the one rotten apple spoiling the whole barrel, wasn't he?
I think we just cracked what Ghislaine Maxwell. She was convicted of trafficking children to nobody. Yeah. But nobody is Sir Jimmy Savile, OBMBE BBC.
Yeah, NTSC.
PLC, VHS, DVD.
But no one was ever able to produce any evidence to take the story forward. It's only fair to mention that some people who one might have expected would hear rumours did not. One such example is Pete Rosier, who for some years was the head of information division and later the head of corporate affairs and media relations. So he was a really good. He had all the information. Pete Tosser did. Yeah. Stories and urban myths. I don't know. Do you want me to just skip to the jokes? Oh no, some of these are pretty good. Yeah, be prepared for your stomach to do somersaults. This is yeah. I've received evidence from several witnesses.
I'm going to have an epilepsy of laughter.
You might just have an epilepsy in your brain. Two similar stories about Saville. I've come to regard these two stories as urban myths, mainly because all the background facts are slightly different. The punchline is the same. The first is called the Marmalade Story. Are you looking forward to the Marmalade Story, Hobbit?
No.
The tale is that Saville was living in his camper van whilst recording one of his shows on location. One afternoon, an elderly lady approached the van and found a member of the production team sitting outside. She asked to speak to Saville, but was informed that he was not there, or, depending on the version of the story, was busy. In fact, Saville was inside the van with a young girl, and it was apparent from the movement of the van the two were having sexual intercourse. The old lady did not realise that. She handed the producer a jar of jam or marmalade, saying she bought it for Saville to thank him for all the good work he did for young people. There's a variant on this. What?
I thought the story was going to be like, he used marmalade as...
Yeah, I think your brain could really, run right. There was a variant on this story. Roger Cook was told a similar story by a freelance cameraman who claimed to have seen this incident for himself. In this version, the lady knocked on the door of the caravan, and after a while, Saville appeared in person looking dishevelled. The lady handed over not a jar of marmalade, but a cake she'd made. The punchline was the same. Another one, similar. So there's a few stories where they thank him for doing stuff for children when he's having
doing
sex
stuff
with them,
to young children.
Yeah.
Thank you for your cervix.
Mr. Simpson also told me that Mr. Reed had told him that whenever he came out of broadcasting house during the school holidays, there'd be a gaggle of young girls on the pavement. Sometimes they would ask him when he was coming up to Jimmy's.
A gaggle? They're gagging for it.
Gaggle.
That's a disgusting insinuation, BBC. I see.
If you do have a daughter that's sexually attracted to Jimmy Saville, you should know about it and you should stop it. It's not right.
You just go to your door and say, "Can you just not, bro?
Yeah.
You're not.
Can you
just not be attracted to Jimmy Saville?
Can you just not, sis? I mean, I know he's incredibly sexy and Oh.
What is it about Jimmy Saville that young girls
don't know? Mr. Reed understood that Saville had invited them to his flat, giving them the impression that Mr. Reed, was also going to be there. Mr. Reed had no intention of going and told them so. This suggests that Saville was using Mr. Reed as bait. Mr. Reed has confirmed that this story is true. He said that he would not even have known where Saville lived, and he believed he had said as much in his response to the girls. Another story was recounted to be by David Simmons, who worked at the BBC between 1970 and 1979. An acquaintance of his had told him that he had been to a gig and a young girl had said she was going to marry Saville. When she was asked how that could possibly be, she said, "Well, after what happened last night, he's got to marry me."
Oh, no. That's not good.
Mr. Simmons stressed this was gossip and he didn't know if it was true.
Oh, nice Stockholm syndrome there, right? Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's just gossip. It's just gossip. It's just hearsay, happenstance. None of this is happening, guys.
Oh, she's not telling the fucking jokes. Jokes, black humour. As I've just observed, the fact that a story is greeted with laughter does not mean the laughing listener approves of the conduct described. The same is true of the jokes which I'm about to relate. They might properly be described as black humour.
Darky humour. That's very racist for you. So Jane Doodif. What's her name?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Dame Janet Smith. As well as telling me that a well-known joke about what Saville and Margaret Thatcher had in common, which did the rounds in late 2012, soon after the Saville scandal broke, had actually been around 20 years earlier. Mark Lawson told me that when his children were young, he and his wife sometimes had difficulty finding a babysitter. When they had a few refusals, it was a family joke. They would say, "Looks like we're down to Jimmy Savile or Michael Jackson." Oh, you fucker! That's a bit naughty, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was told that people called Saville's camper buddies fuck truck. Jimmy Savile's fuck truck. Just get that into your mind, Hobbit. Or his shagging wagon.
Bitch, in my truck, bitch, I'm gonna fuck.
Paul Hughes Smith said that while he was working on Top of the Pops, people would say that Saville wore tracksuits because they were quick to get off. One witness said that Top of the Pops was known as Jimmy Savile's fodder night. Oh,
dude.
Oh, these are jokes.
Jimmy Savile's wank fodder.
These are the jokes. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Ian McGuinness, who was...
I'm not laughing yet.
Yeah.
When's the funny bit?
I haven't seen a punchline yet. Ian McGuinness, who was a staff relations officer...
I know one, right? None of Jimmy Savile's jokes. What's the best thing about fucking 25-year-olds?
Oh, Hobbit.
Now then, how's about...
Oh, God.
I would eventually steer this towards the more Fortean parts this week. But let's just have some more Jimmy Savile jokes.
Ian McGuinness, who was staff relations officer at Thames Television in the 1970s, said that every Christmas some amusing tapes were made at Television Centre. Oh, no. These consisted mainly of film clips where something had gone wrong, a howler, and there had to be a retake. The material was circulated among the staff for amusement. However, Mr. McGuinness remembers that one year, either 1975 or 1976, there was a film of a short sketch in which a man representing Saville was sitting on the Jim will fix it chair with another man dressed up as a little girl sitting on his knee. The man acting the part of Saville was making salacious comments about the girl. The announcement made on the film was Jimmy so vile. Jimmy so vile.
You know, Jerry Sadafinowicz has a YouTube channel.
Well, not anymore. He's dead.
There was, Jerry Sadafinowicz. He never I don't even know if he does videos because I've seen a few clips of him and he seems very funny. But either way, he did a thing shortly after Jimmy Savile died on the YouTube thing, and I thought, oh great, he's going to do more stand up on YouTube. And he dressed up as Jimmy Savile and was talking about now then we all know girls that I was dancing, and Jerry Sadafinowicz came out of it in the early 90s, and that's why he got blacklisted from TV. That was my doing. That was now then. So apparently Jerry Sadafinowicz doesn't like Jimmy Savile because he got him shit canned.
Yeah. I don't
He's
understand the popularity of Jimmy Savile. I don't think I ever will.
Oh well, you don't know him like the BBC. They knew the public would have rioted, the blood in the streets. If Jimmy Savile had been taken off from telly, he was far more popular than David Bellamy was.
No, I used to like David Bellamy.
No, David Bellamy got shit canned from telly because he said global warming is a man-made hoax.
Yeah,
it's not real.
You can't say that.
I know, and that's why David Bellamy's not been allowed on.
That's the jokes section, the stories and jokes section of the Dame Janet Smith.
Jimmy Savile's got another joke. Says, "What's the best thing about fucking 24-year-olds?" But that's just beyond the pale. It's not funny, Sir Jimmy Savile. MBE, OBE, DVD.
Yeah.
See.
Right, so Hobbit, do you want
VSC is not bronze swimming certificate. It means bugger small children. That's what Jimmy Savile was doing.
Did you want to do some?
So yeah, Jimmy Savile was a druid.
No, you want
to... clues hidden in plain sight about Jimmy Savile's true nature. And this is actually an article from January of this year by Thomas Mueller. Editor's note. Netflix has a 2-hour documentary on Jimmy Savile called Jimmy Savile, A British Horror Story. Rated, worth a watch. It is strong with revelations on how in the girls' institutions he raised money for and preyed upon those institutions were designed to serve. It is Winterwatch's view that the Savile rabbit hole goes much deeper than the show revealed. Jimmy Savile, 1926 to 2011, was one of Britain's best-known entertainers and a master of black magic manipulation. Saville was a self-styled wizard and dressed the role. In reality, he fully divulged that he was a deviant and Luciferian of the high. He hid it in plain sight.
Definitely a fucking deviant, all right.
Saville's case illustrates, and a devil worshipper, the weakness of authoritarian followers and the pajama people at the hands of such an evil operative when combined, I don't know who the pajama people are, the crime syndicate-controlled media and compromise system. It should be quite apparent that even as skilled at evil as he was, he couldn't for half a century without assistance. Only after he died at 85 in 2011 did his victims feel safe and able to come forward. His favourite modus operandi was to rape and abuse patients in the very hospitals for which he raised charity money for. He was typically given free rein over these facilities. 13 hospitals and schools were known to have been involved. At least 450 individuals of both sexes made allegations. Police finally stated 214 crimes were committed. 28 involved children under the age of 10. Part of his influence, scroll down, was a procurer of young boys and girls for top officials. Like John Wayne Gacy, he may have run a body disposal service. The real scope of his activity over a period of 50 years can scarcely be imagined. He also sexually defiled bodies of dead patients and even stole their glass eyes to make rings. In the photo at the right, so do you want to see this photo? I'll just... It's a very small photo and I can't make it bigger, so I'll just chuck it in the thing and then you can see it. So there you go, there it is. In the photo to the right, he shows a total disdain for the pajama people as he displays one of his trophies. No, it's in Jimmy Savile. He showed up in a talk show called Through the Peephole. It's a really pixelated image. The eye is quite apparent. Wearing a shirt that read, "I am an animal and I eat people." Oh, that's nice. One method of a skilled Satanist like Saville is an in-your-face revelation of the method and neurolinguistic programming. But pajama people just laugh it off as weird. And I think this is their way of saying those that are asleep. They just dismiss it as weird and continue on oblivious. We have gathered up a sampling of Saville-isms to illustrate his routine. His delivery was not that funny or engaging, but rather quite creepy. The ever-present cigar functions as a wand. He's rarely seen laughing and typically sneers. If he smiles, the effect is distorted by a cigar clamped on his tobacco-stained teeth. Yet the brainwashed pajama people yuck it up. In the following video, he states in a blunt manner, "I'm feared in every girl's school." It's a clip from Louis Theroux's thing.
Yeah.
So we can't play that because, Susan. By the way, rest in peace, your son, Susan. But he's burning in hell because he didn't accept Christ. In a chilling 1991 interview with Saville openly and frankly discussed his satanic do-as-they-wilt philosophy. After calling his father a good guy, he self-described himself, that's their writing, not mine,
he self-described
as
himself.
Dishonest and inverted,
I hate it.
and
no
a ducker and a diver. What, self-described himself?
Yeah.
See, what had happened was...
Yeah.
At the timestamp 5 minutes 53 seconds, he states he had no emotions towards others. At 6 minutes, he says, "8 children, but could get along with them." What is stuff that makes me yawn? At 6:15, Saville tells Claire how nihilism works. You are not in that world, so therefore you don't know. You are constrained by certain things. I am not in your world. I am not constrained by much of anything. He finished this train of thought by stating, the tough thing in life is ultimate freedom. So there's a documentary there. I think I can call that. Let's have a look at that. It's a 10-minute long documentary, and I don't know if it's copyrighted or not, so I'll just post that in here. No, I won't, because I can't right-click, so I'll just Control V. Why can't I right-click in Gilded? What's up with that?
Well,
anyway.
You have to control. I have to Control V it as well.
We suspect that Saville practiced chaos. Oh my god. Chaos magic. Provided there was enough free belief to feed his desires, being unconstrained, they would grow into obsessions, which would culminate in magical results occurring in reality. So all this worked as Saville pulled the wool over the pajama people's eyes up until his death. I mean, the magic must be working on me because I can't keep my eyes open.
Yeah, I'm ready to be one of the pajama
For some reason.
myself.
Yeah. For some reason I can't fully understand. His spells quickly died with him, as hundreds of victims came forward as soon as he died. He often spoke in gibberish and combined 2 syllables followed by 3 syllables. For example, how's about that then? Or he would repeat 3 words in an intonation like, now then, now then, now then, which was his favourite. One of his little ditties was a song that could only get a pass in the world of wink-wink cultural Marxist and pervert justice warriors, or PJWs. Isn't that Paul Joseph Watson's?
Paul Joseph Watson's. Yeah, that's what you beat me to that joke by about a millisecond.
Oh, so they also got another article. See, no, skits and jokes about raping babies aren't funny and never will be. Mentioning Sarah Silverman in it. Who else? Jack Posobiec, Cernovic, and some other stuff. I'll just skim through it. Anyway, Jimmy Saville. Note the classic 3-word intonations. His lyrics are under false inverted child language, wrapped in the guise of a children's song. This travesty is supposed to be a Christmas song. Jingle jangle jewelry, jingle jangle jewelry, jingle jangle jewelry, lovely, lovely, lovely. Jingle jangle jewelry, lovely, lovely, lovely.
Is that where
jingle
the jingle
jangle
jangle
jewelry
comes from then? It's a song.
Look at my bum. No. Some says it's bugger my bum.
We are the
not
cheeky
look at
girls,
my bum.
You are the cheeky boys.
All right, well, some say it's bugger my bum, not look at my bum. Well, here's the next lyrics. Jingle jangle jewelry, jingle jangle. Yeah, okay.
Song,
up me chocolate starfish, up me chocolate starfish. Lovely, lovely, lovely. My bob for all bullets. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Come and chuck your muck. What the fuck?
Vile.
Up me Cadbury Alley. I'm not a shirt lifter. Now then. Chocolate Speedway. Choke your chicken up your Charlie hole. But what? Time to chuck your muck over your sister's jubblies. I don't want to read the... I will just go to the last bits of it because I'm not going to sing the rest of it.
So is this some sort of Christmas song that Jimmy Saville did?
I'm a council gritter. Oh, there's actually the song.
Oh no, thanks. Even the lyrics is fucking bad enough.
Yeah, well, Jimmy Saville actually sung and performed this, and it was like, how is it? This song was allowed to be on the BBC. Judge Dredd, Up With The Cock wasn't. Up With The Cock at least was funny.
Yeah, and that was about working on a farmyard.
Yeah. Get up at the crack of dawn.
They weren't about knocking one out
you're
of
up
your
with
sister,
the cock.
was it?
No. Here is Saville again, hiding in plain sight. There is absolutely no anecdotal purpose to this story. All he's doing is telling us you can take young girls into Buckingham Palace to meet Prince Philip in the boot, American English trunk of his car unhindered. At minute 2, he says, so I give the nod to Philip, the nod that says, look what I've got for you. Never does explain just why he takes the young girl into the palace to see Philip, who, with fantastic luck, happened to be available and almost waiting, it seemed, for the arrival of the producer with the latest offering. And I think there's a link there with, is that Parkinson? But Oh yeah, I'll just put a gun in the boot of my car. That's how to travel to.
Yeah, the thing
About
is,
his
though,
mother,
I can understand because it sounds like nonsense, doesn't it?
It's so weird, and then it's just like, oh yeah,
he's outlandish. It sounds outlandish and nonsensical, so people will go, "Oh, it's just."
It sounds outlandish because it is outlandish.
Yeah.
Like what he's doing is just blatantly fucking like, yeah, I'm getting children for the rich and famous to fuck.
Yeah.
His mother, who died in 1970, he calls the Duchess.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I had to share her with other. We had marvelous times. When she was dead, she was all mine.
Oh.
Just that remind me of Mark Collett for some reason. Mark Thompson.
Fuck me.
Mark Thompson, CEO of the pedovore protecting New York Times, aka Slimes, is the former CEO of the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, where the Satanist paedophile Jimmy Savile worked for 30 plus years, raping hundreds of children. Some of them in hospitals, others in the studios on premises owned by the BBC.
He don't pull his punches, this geezer, does he?
No. Pedovore. Girls who dared to complain about being sexually assaulted were regarded as a nuisance, and the claims not properly dealt with. Thompson engineered the BBC Savile cover-up, then jumped ship to become CEO of the NY Times /Slimes. Thompson continues to protect the Satanist paedophile cult. Are you talking about cannibal paedophiles?
Yeah, vor is.
No, why not just? Yeah,
vor is like porn. It's porn about eating people, isn't it? Because do you remember that copper that was into vor, and he got sacked for his messages to that woman?
No, I don't know about that.
He hadn't actually committed any offences, but it's one of those that's kind of, it's a bit weird. It's fucking sick, and the boy ain't right. But like, should he be sacked for thoughts he's having, not what he's actually doing?
They got two more related articles here, just before they carry on to the next bit. In a time of cancel culture, Eric Gill's sculpture to paedophilia still the one with the child like giving a blowjob to the man. Adorns BBC's London Broadcasting House. Retired BBC Panorama Director, 76, found with 832 child abuse images, gasps in shock as he avoids jail after judge said his poor health will make prison particularly challenging during pandemic.
Oh, no.
So, one of Savile's favourite projects was with Broadmoor Hospital for the Criminal, where he loved fraternising with inmates. In 1988, he showed up in Broadmoor to head a task force and lived in a terrace house. He then lined up some girlfriends among the inmates. Boxing legend Frank Bruno described how Savile vindictively tricked him into being photographed shaking hands with Peter Sutcliffe.
My favourite, I always say this every time, my favourite is when Jimmy Savile died and he got disavowed by the fucking Yorkshire Ripper.
So, described how Savile vindictively tricked him into being photographed shaking hands with Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, at Broadmoor. Sutcliffe was convicted of murdering 13 women, likely murdered, and injured many more. The unsuspecting boxer was introduced to Sutcliffe by Savile during a visit to the.
That's not the first time a boxer was conned, was it? Because there was that. Was it George Foreman, the one where he said, "Can you wish it's my mum and dad's anniversary?" And there's a picture of Fred and Rose West. Do you remember that one? I think that was George Foreman, weren't it?
All right, I'll copy another picture in this as well because this. Did we do about Ian Huntley last time?
No, we didn't, did we?
No, the RAF Rendlesham and the USAF base as well.
No, yeah.
The reason I'm
done that one yet.
Fraser's fallen asleep. He must be part of the armour piece.
Oh, I think I'm not far behind him. We're 10 minutes over.
Me too. I'll just get through this bit then.
Yeah.
Sutcliffe murder victim Irene Richardson's body was found just behind Savile's flat.
Yeah, I know.
Coinciding. Yeah, so there's a picture of that. From The Guardian in 2004, David Hare and Jimmy Savile. When asked if he has been following the Myra Hindley story, replies enigmatically, "I am the Myra Hindley story."
He is.
Was Savile involved in the Moore murders of 63 to 65? Ian Brady and Myra Hindley may have had a third person in the room watching during the recording of torture. They tortured and murdered 5 young boys that are known. Savile visited them both in prison.
Young boys, was
Savile,
it was young boys and young girls.
Savile adopted and never let go of the Myra Hindley hairstyle.
Oh.
Jimmy Savile was no lone wolf. He was the point of spear in the twisted and inverted Luciferian network that today dominates Great Britain as well as the United States. And oh look, here's a picture of Jimmy Savile, and next to him the picture of Aleister Crowley doing the same pose, the 2 pillars. You know, the 2 pillars where you got your arms and doing that thing. Anyway, that's it. Oh, another Jimmy Savile joke, right? I'm not saying this is funny, right? Jimmy Savile joke. What's the best thing about fucking 23-year-olds?
Oh my god. That's a wrap, folks.
That's a wrap. Yeah. Remember, if you've been affected by any of the events until then, so have I. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Mostly like the thought of being that person outside the caravan while it's rocking and you're hearing the Jimmy Savile sex noises.
We got a jar of marmalade. The only way I can. The only way I can cope with
that's the question, right?
Yeah.
The only way I can cope with any of this is just by making. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. If you didn't laugh, you'd be Jimmy Savile, wouldn't you?
Now then, how's about that then?
It's not very good, is it? Anyway,
no,
that's
it's not
the end
very
of this
good.
stream. I don't know if are we doing part 3 next week.
I mean, there's so much information. We could do a part 3 another week.
Yeah, we can do it another time.
We could
go back into the Dame Janet report, can't we?
Well, the thing about this as well is like
there's not only that. There's the NHS investigation into Jimmy Savile as well that we can go into.
Well, that's why I wanted to say, like, we didn't really cover the Jimmy Savile connection.
No, I don't think we'll be doing the NHS one because it takes you 10 seconds to scroll through all the different reports.
Oh, jeez.
So
Stoke Mandeville, Rampton, Springfield University Hospital, Crawley Hospital, Leeds General Infirmary, Birch Hill Hospital, Rochdale, Scott House Hospital, Rochdale, Bethlehem, Royal Hospital, Shenley Hospital, West Yorkshire Ambulance Service, St Martin's Hospital, Canterbury, Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Gateshead, Royal Victoria Infirmary, Meanwood Park Hospital, Calderdale Royal Hospital, and they were just the investigations in February 2015. There's 2014.
He's hospital crazy.
There's 2014, which is twice as many hospitals.
I don't know a hospital that Jimmy hasn't had.
Yeah. Now then. How's
Jimmy Savile, everybody. Yeah.
Beautiful. Right, are we all done now?
Yeah.
Remember, if you drink Coca-Cola, you endorse Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Night all.
I know.
Don't be Jimmy Savile.
Stay spooky. Don't think.